Nonprofits nationally and locally are continuously asked to do more with less. However, in 2025, we can expect a sharp rise in that expectation. Here's why and what you can do about it to avert a crisis at your nonprofit and a reduction in support for people you serve who are already vulnerable. I initially referred to this situation as the nonprofit fiscal challenge. However, two respected community leaders in separate conversations on the same day pointed out to me that it was not merely a challenge, but a crisis, a fiscal cliff. So, what does this crisis fiscal cliff entail? Essentially, demands for nonprofit programs and services are increasing while financial resources are decreasing, including the final end of the COVID related stimulus. What does the future hold? Experts predict donations, business philanthropy, and foundation support to remain relatively flat, certainly not at an increase to meet the increasing demand and fill that void of stimulus funding. And with a federal bailout seems unlikely given the $35 trillion federal debt, high interest rates, political divisiveness, and the Department of Government efficiency. Alongside this decreasing funding, nonprofits are experiencing a rising demand for services, particularly those the stimulus funds intended to support. Food banks, homeless service providers, and homeless prevention organizations are among the hardest hit, reporting a 50% increase in demand over the past 18 months. How can you navigate this approaching cliff? The answer is straightforward. Change your direction and avoid driving over the cliff. Initially, focus on short-term strategies that can help mitigate the impact. Even if the ending of stimulus funds does not financially challenge your nonprofit, your impact can be greatly enhanced by implementing these strategies. These strategies include: one, activate your board. Start with a board giving campaign with 100% participation. Better engage the board in fundraising, initially starting them with being engaged in relationship building before asking them to seek support from their network. Get them used to advocating for the great works of your nonprofit. Remember that everyone can contribute, even those who are uncomfortable or willing or not used to soliciting gifts. Board involvement in fundraising begins at board recruitment, ensuring fundraising is in the board description, board agreement, and working with each board member to establish an appropriate revenue goal based on their financial wealth. Remember that board members need support, including fundraising training and tools like print and promotional materials, short videos, and talking points about the organization and its impact. With these tools, leverage board members' networks by having them educate their network on the impact of your organization, and then have staff follow up and make, quote unquote, the ask for funding. Remember that fundraising is all about building relationships and compellingly telling your agency's story and its impact on those it serves. It is not high-pressure sales. Two, invest more in fundraising to diversify your funding. It seems strange to advise a nonprofit with funding challenges to invest more in fundraising revenue capacity, growth, and long-term sustainability. View it as an investment, not just an expense. Seek funding from a current donor, a community foundation, or other source to make this investment that should return well. Advocate a percentage or a greater percent of the executive director's time in fundraising. Put it in the job description, establish performance goals, and track these outcomes. Hire a part-time fundraiser or a fundraising consultant. We have found that this fiscal cliff has led to the increased cost salary for an experienced development staff. So most of the small and mid-sized nonprofits we know cannot afford an experienced and proven development director. Remember, 70% of nonprofit funding is from individuals, so ensure you implement individual giving campaigns. 3, partner or compete. Stick to your niche. In our observation, many nonprofits strayed from their core mission, programs, and services from the stimulus funding, and/or a desire to meet all the needs of those you serve, thus expanding beyond your core strengths and competencies. Spend some time. Evaluate your competitive niche, what you do uniquely or what you do more effectively than other similar agencies. We know that all nonprofits are unique. However, funders and the community perceive organizations as competitors. So find out who they perceive as your competitor. This deep self-assessment may require strategically paring back your programs and services to what you do uniquely best. With this clarity and focus on your competitive advantage, be bold, promote, and own these strengths. While we all want to help others succeed and thrive, one nonprofit agency cannot effectively address every issue, barrier, and challenge faced by those you serve. So partner with others to meet these needs and stay focused on your core programs and services. 4, prove your outcomes. Spend time to clarify your logic model that links your resources to outcomes, not just outputs. Then focus on an effective way to track those outcomes. Imperfect evaluation is better than none at all, especially if you're a small organization or not used to tracking outcomes. It can be costly, but consider using a third-party evaluation consultant or explore working with a local university to aid in this evaluation. Thinking long-term, just don't use evaluation to track and report outcomes, but also to make improvement to your nonprofit and the programs and services you provide. These are the short-term strategies, and we understand the need to focus on the short term during these challenging times. However, nonprofits, funders, government officials, and community leaders must consider long-term strategies, including 1, strategic partnerships, including mergers and consolidation. 2, scaling great innovative ideas for better impact. 3, engaging the business community appropriately that aligns your strengths with their competitive advantage. And partnering with the government for enhanced government productivity. This will not be easy, but it is doable. First, change the direction now and avoid going over the cliff. In subsequent videos, we will go into more detail on the long-term strategies, especially strategic partnerships, and a video on each of the short-term strategies. If you're interested to learn more about the crisis, and more importantly, the solutions and strategies, please send me an email to Eric, E-R-I-K, Eric at speakmanconsulting.com. Or you can just call me directly at 404-936-1211. Keep up the great work in the community. And have a great day.